Over the course of 6 events, we will have more middleweights putting their rankings on the line than we have over the course of the last year. Dricus du Plessis will be defending his middleweight title against Khamzat Chimaev this Saturday. The middleweight division has all of a sudden gotten a whole bunch of juice. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to break down the entire UFC 319 fight card, giving you my picks, predictions, and bets. We're going to open up the UFC 319 fight card with a lady fight. And there are rumors of a 13th fight being added to this card. Until that's officially announced, we're going to roll with what we have. If that fight does get announced, then of course, Big Ange will break that down. We'll have the picks, we'll have the bets, we'll have everything on the website almost immediately. And then, of course, later in this week, we will have more videos breaking down this entire card. If you're not subscribed, please do so. I quite literally never ask you to click that button, but click it. Our YouTube metrics say that we do about 450,000 unique views a month. This video does anywhere from 15 to 25,000 views, depending on the quality of the UFC event. And the metrics say only about half of you have clicked the button. So do me a favor, click that damn button. It costs you not, just click the button. I actually never ask. And when you start a YouTube channel, you start watching all these like how to make a successful YouTube channel videos. And they're all like call to action, tell people to subscribe and like. I never do it. I am now. Let's go ahead and break down this fight. We got Karine Silva taking on Dione Barboza. This is a new fight on the card. Karine Silva was already on the card. She lost her opponent. Dione the Witch Barboza steps up on short notice. Should be a fun fight because Karine Silva doesn't play around. She's a powerful grappler. She's constantly working for something, whether on her back or on top. She has 18 wins. 17 of them are by stoppage, and they're a mixed bag of ground and pound submissions. She's going to plot forward. She's got a tight guard in her feet. She throws a flurry of punches, then she rushes in, clinches the body, works you to the cage, drags you to the ground. From there, she is constantly working for submissions, constantly working for submissions. She is coming off that decision loss to Viviane Araújo, where her takedown defense just wasn't quite there. And she might need it in this fight because she's taking on Dione Barboza. Dione's a solid grappler in her own right. She's going to throw tight strikes. She'll look to get it to the ground. She is a judoka. So instead of shooting doubles, she's going to work into the clinch and then get some trips and some throws. She will look to tie you up. She will work hard in that clinch. Her striking is not great, but she is fast enough to set up that clinch and fast enough to close that gap. She's coming off that submission win over Diana Belbita. And I understand that Karine is going to cite favorite here. I get it. She should be a favorite. She's strong. She's a solid grappler. She was already on this card. But we just saw that her takedown offense and takedown defense aren't quite the same thing. Her defense is not very good, and Dione Barboza will test that. The real struggle with breaking down this fight is that neither of these women have very good wins. If you run through their fight history, it's like, yeah, they beat mid-level to lower-level people, some of whom are not even employed by the UFC anymore. So I don't have a tent-pole premier win to say, well, she beat her, so this should look good. And anytime they fought somebody pretty solid, they lost. So I'm going to break this down just as a clean fight. Karine is obviously a fantastic finisher, but she hasn't had that same finishing success at this level than she did at the regional level. And certainly if fights go longer, she's not finding finishes in the third round. Dione is tough as hell. She's a solid grappler in her own right. Short notice is definitely a concern here, but I'm going to lean the dog. I think Dione Barboza has a genuine, legitimate chance to win this fight. I'm going to pick her. I trust her strength. I trust her pressure. I trust her ability to stay safe. I don't know if I trust her cardio, but we'll find out on Saturday night. This is an easy +3.5 bet, and the reality is that'll be -250, so we're not going to touch it. Here's a look at what I've been doing. I'm on a streak, guys. I've been crushing it. I am on a streak. I have absolutely been putting up some numbers. Here's the UFC Vegas 109 results. 2.37 units of net profit at 39% ROI. Here's my last 6 fight cards. Over 6 cards. And Vegas 108, 109 were pretty straightforward. 318 was chaotic. Nashville was chaotic. 317 was chaotic. And I'm bobbing and weaving, and we're putting up some numbers. 6.64 units of net profit over the last 6 events. A combined 23% ROI from those events. So if you want to check out every bet, I'm on a streak. You got to ride the streaks. Every pick, every bet, every tool, every breakdown on the website right now, WeWantPicks.com. It's freaking $10. If you were a member for even part of this run and you paid $10, we're doing it. You've had a year's worth of premium membership paid for. And by the way, if you do want to sign up for a year's worth of premium, it's only $100. You got people out there. You know there's people out there who take pictures in rented cars and then make them their pin tweets to look like they're cool and rich. There's people out there charging $100 for their service. It's $10. And that's not just picks and bets. We have a full suite of tools as well. $10 for an entire month, $100 for a year, $300 for a lifetime. Inevitably, I mentioned that, and then I get an email. You mentioned I can't find. It's quite literally on the homepage. Just WeWantPicks.com. Scroll a little bit. Bang, right there. 10, 100, 300. WeWantPicks.com. That takes us to a very good fight that is surprisingly early on the card. You can make the case that this should be the featured prelim, let alone the second fight of the night. We got Bryan Battle taking on Nursulton Ruziboev. We're going to start on the Ruziboev side. I've been a big Nursulton. Man, I said I've been a nerd. I have been a big Nursulton supporter since he jumped into the UFC. I think I've picked him in every single fight, including that one loss to Joaquin Buckley. And spoiler alert, I'm picking him here too. Nursulton Ruziboev is a wrestling and grappling beast who has been showing us his hands in the UFC. We haven't really seen a lot of that wrestling in the octagon, but I promise you, you do the research, you do the tape study, you will find this motherfucker wrestling and grappling, and he's very good at it. On the regional scene, nonstop, he's dragging you to the ground, he's shooting takedowns, he's catching kicks. On the ground, he's very transitional. He's aggressive. He's holding positions. He's looking for finishes. On the feet, he's a little more patient. He's a little more calculated, but he finds his openings and he fires right hands down the middle. He's a massive 6'5". He carries that size really well, and he just knocked out Eric McConaughey, who apparently is one of the best on the planet right now. He's taking on Bryan Battle. Bryan Battle is a dogfight kind of fighter. He's constantly pressuring, constantly working towards something. He has shown us that he's got solid ground game. He's never out of a fight. He averages a little less than one takedown per fight, but he is shooting takedowns occasionally. He has a miserable, absolute dog shit, Mackenzie Dern level bad takedown accuracy at 17%. He is improving at an incredible pace, though, both physically and technique-wise, but he did just miss weight in a fight that a lot of people thought he lost against Randy Brown. And Bryan Battle does seem to be moving in the wrong direction in his weight loss journey. He famously was 300 pounds, and then he worked his ass off, got all the way down to 170, started to have success, and then I don't know what's happening. He fell off. He missed weight. This is at middleweight. So he missed weight in his last fight, wins a not very good decision, and then now this fight's at middleweight against a 6'5" beast who's got power in his hands, wrestling that we haven't seen yet in the octagon, but I promise you it's there. Yeah, I'm picking Nursulton, and I bet on Nursulton at plus 150. I think Nursulton Ruziboev wins this fight. Dude, Bryan Battle is not big enough to be fucking around at middleweight. He's just not. This is like, remember last week when everybody in the world was on C-Rod except me? And I was like, I got Andre Fili here. C-Rod's just not big enough for this weight class. Doesn't quite have the experience. And this isn't that exact same breakdown because Bryan Battle's got plenty of experience. I just don't think he's big enough for this weight class. And he's not just going to hold Nursulton against the cage. I think he's not going to have that same success striking at range. I don't think that power is going to carry up to 185, and Nursulton's got a chin on him. So I think Nursulton wins here. I was surprised to see he was that big of a dog. We'll see what happens to the line this week, but Nursulton Ruziboev is going to be the pick, and I've got a bet on him. Then we have a tricky fight to break down. We got Edson Barboza taking on Drakkar Klose. This is tricky to break down because skill-wise, Edson Barboza is absolutely fantastic. Age-wise, not great. This dude's old in human years and fight years, but he's a great striker. He's got amazing movement. He has fought every single person in this division that has any notoriety whatsoever. He's a highlight reel of knockouts and submissions. He's unbelievably fast. He's very technical. Barboza doesn't initiate a lot of offensive takedowns, but he is very good on the ground. He's got some sneaky submissions. He is coming off that main event loss to Lerone Murphy a little more than a year ago. He's taking on Drakkar Klose. Drakkar Klose started his career as a wrestler. Then he developed some striking. He was a state champion wrestler. He uses that wrestling offensively, but he does have some issues defensively. He's got some solid boxing, good power, good speed. Overall, he's a well-rounded guy. He can go to the distance. He can find himself a finish. He is coming off that KO loss to Joel Alvarez, where he had the takedown, but he could just not hang in the striking. The first thing people are going to do here, listen, I've been doing this long enough. I know what's going to happen. The first thing people are going to do here is be like, but Edson's 39 years old. Oh, no shit? Oh, my God. Oh, shit. I didn't realize that. Drakkar Klose is 37. We're not talking about a young 24-year-old prospect. We got an old and an old. We got two olds. Edson's definitely a little worse for the wear, but neither one of these gentlemen are young men. And health-wise, Drakkar's been battling a bunch of random injuries for the last couple of years. So I don't think age is going to be a factor here. Pace might be. Edson cuts a shit ton of weight, and he does tend to slow down. If Drakkar comes out with a wrestle-heavy game plan, which he doesn't always do, but he can, the skills are there, then he could definitely wear on Edson. He can take away the power. I'm split here because I really do want to pick Drakkar Klose as a dog, but I just haven't seen anything yet that tells me Barboza's washed. Oh, he lost to undefeated Lerone Murphy in a 5-round main event? Okay. He lost to Bryce Mitchell. That's not a terrible loss. So Drakkar Klose, while he doesn't have a bunch of bad losses either, I don't think his skills are there. He's not a better striker than Edson Barboza. He doesn't have better jiu-jitsu than Edson Barboza. He's got an easier weight cut. Probably better cardio. I'm going to lean Edson Barboza here. I've seen that dude step up time and time and time again against some of the best that have ever done it. Edson Barboza is going to be the pick. I'm probably not confident enough to bet on him. Then we have another really fun fight that's surprisingly low on the card. This is a sneaky good pay-per-view. You know how it works. Somebody on Twitter screenshots the card and then just do like the stupid eye emoji and they're like, oh, this card sucks. And everybody's like, yeah, UFC is cooked. No, the fuck it isn't. This is a good card. This is an objectively good card. We have an unbelievable main event. The co-main event is very interesting, especially for people who know who Aaron Pico is. And then we have a bunch of just solid matchups up and down this entire card. That Edson Barboza fight I just broke down, solid matchup. This fight, not only is it a solid matchup, it does matter for both of their careers a little more than a regular fight. Chase Hooper's streaking right now. Alexander Hernandez has his own little streak going. This is a very good fight, and I'm looking forward to it. We got Alexander Hernandez. He's tough to break down because he's very good. He's very well-rounded. He's also very inconsistent. He's explosive. He has actual skills. Solid wrestler. He's an athlete with power and speed, but he does struggle to just put it all together at once. He's a little undersized for this division, but he makes up for it with speed, cardio, and some power. He's coming off that decision win over Kurt Holobaugh, where he did need to wrestle because he was getting touched up early on the feet. He's taking on Chase Hooper. We've seen Chase grow up in our own eyes. We've watched from just little dorky boy to like actual filled out. Now, I didn't remove dorky. I think he's still a little dorky, but that's his personality. Good for him. Nothing wrong with being a dork. Maybe I should say nerd. I think dork is, if nerd is like a point of pride. Yeah, I'm a nerd. I paint those little figurines. So we'll say nerd. So I don't know if he's still a nerd, but he's definitely like physically not who he was. He's filled out quite a bit. He's using his physicality a lot better. He has takedowns now. His takedowns used to suck. Those are there now. And his UFC career is really starting to blossoming into something meaningful. He's looked great at 155 pounds. He is undefeated at this weight class, and he's not small at 6'1" and now filling out. He's coming off that grapple heavy win over Jim Miller. And this is a good matchup, and honestly, it's not an awful matchup for Alexander Hernandez. Chase, in all likelihood, will need to get the takedowns here. Alexander's got solid takedown defense. And even though he's wildly inconsistent, he's still a talented guy who has fought the tougher slate of competition. I'm going to slight lean Chase. Chase is going to be the pick, but like by this much, because he does have the height advantage. He's got the raw BJJ advantage, and that may work well for him. The height advantage, I don't normally care about reach and length and all of that, but Alexander's going to have to come bobbing and weaving, rushing in to close that gap, and he's going to have to get to Chase's legs. I don't expect Alexander to be shooting takedowns because he knows how good Chase is on the ground. So what I assume is going to happen is Alexander's going to come rushing in. He's going to have to get past the length, and he's going to have to touch up Chase. Chase is going to be looking to get it to the ground. This is a fun matchup, and I would not be surprised by any outcome. If Chase gets it to the ground, submits Alexander Hernandez, not surprising. If Alexander Hernandez just touches Chase up on the feet, avoids any chaos on the ground, wins a decision, that wouldn't be surprising either. So Chase Hooper's going to be the slight pick, but almost like what did that. Oh my God, I had a stroke. Oh my God, you guys just watched the stroke live. I was going to say almost like what I did last week, but it came out almost. That's not good. Here's the thing. You guys know I have that other show with Josh Thompson, the former UFC fighter, Strikeforce champ. He's the only person to ever knock out Nate Diaz. He likes to call me fat. It's an easy, cheap shot. It's because he's just a small, little, tiny man, and I'm 6'3", great-looking, unbelievable personality. So, cheap shot. Oh, you're fat. Oh, am I? I could do 6 sit-ups. You're not going to get the fucking shin extension surgery, you small dork. He was like, come train with me. I've been training. I've been going to a jiu-jitsu place around my place. And he's like, no. Come with me on Saturday. And he goes, I don't want to. He said publicly what gym he goes to, but whatever. So he goes, it's about a half an hour away. I'm going to pick you up. He picks me up at 10:30 on Saturday. We go. First of all, it's gi. I hate wearing that fucking bathrobe. And second of all, it is 2 hours of live rounds. They do a full hour of King of the Mat and then another full hour of just live rolls. I'm dying. I might have some brain swelling. Kazuma and I are both dealing with some brain swelling right now. So yeah, I had a mini stroke here. What I was going to say is what we might do here, where we had some success last week, is betting the plus 3.5. I broke down Miles Johns and Jin Matsumoto. And I said, Miles Johns can absolutely, with 100% certainty, win a round in this fight. So I bet on him to win a single round. And he did. And I'm going to do the same here, potentially. Plus 230 dog, somebody as tough as Alex, the plus 3.5 might be plus money. And all he has to do is win one round against Chase Hooper and not get finished. If you end up in a decision, a 29-28 across the board, we get paid. Keep an eye out for that bet. I will probably end up placing that bet here. I think Hernandez is wildly inconsistent, so I can't trust him with the money line, but I think he can have enough success to steal around. We'll take a look at it when it comes. It's not a guarantee I'm going to do it. We'll see what the odds are, but that is something I'll be looking at. Then we have the fight simulator. This is a tool that we've used many times over for a lot of different things. Last event, or 2 events ago, we used it to absolutely hammer a round line. We took the Carahosa round line on every sports book and Prize Picks and Underdog. We ran it through the fight simulator. The fight simulator said, no way this bitch gets anywhere near that many strikes. And so we went ahead and we played the under, and it absolutely hit. The fight simulator does exactly that. It simulates fights 100,000 times, and it gives you the outputs. But not only does it say who's going to win or lose those 100,000 simulations, it gives you each individual statistic along the way. How many strikes this person is landing on average through their wins and losses. How many takedowns? How many fantasy points? So you can use those individual pieces of information to go find your own bets, go play your own daily fantasy games. Check out the fight simulator. It's on the website. It's included in everything we do. Big Angie's little win streak right now. You'll get those bets and the fight simulator and the optimizer and the tape index. We don't do any packages. We don't do any upsell. No bullshit. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member at the top. Then we have another lady fight and another very meaningful, impactful fight for the division. We have former world champion Jessica Andrade taking on wildly inconsistent but very talented Lupita Godinez. Jessica Andrade, as I mentioned, former world champion. She's just sort of a brute force fighter. She's never the more technical fighter. She has power in her hands. She's got big, powerful motions. We saw her pick up and just spike, which borderline illegal, Rose Namajunas to win the title. She is tough as nails. She pulls wins out of her ass. When we watched her beat the hell out of Mackenzie Dern, that was a bit surprising because the narrative was Jessica can't really defend takedowns and Mackenzie's takedowns suck, but might be good enough here. And then Jessica Andrade just battered her and bruised her. Jessica Andrade has all the individual skills, but doesn't actually use them. She fights like just a bar brawler. Comes in, bullies her opponents, throws hard as hell. She is coming off that submission loss to Jasmine Jasudavicius, but Jasmine's a nasty wrestler, so kind of a tough matchup for her. She's taking on Lupita Godinez. Lupita Godinez is also a tough wrestler, but she's got some solid, clean boxing as well. She's got great setups for both the boxing and the wrestling. She's technically sound. She can execute her own bully-style game plan. She has all the talent in the world. She can genuinely beat 90% of this division if she's using those skills, if she's firing on all cylinders, and if she's making the appropriate decisions. Problem is, she might have some of the worst fight IQ we've ever seen. She will just randomly do shit she shouldn't be doing. She's going to decisions with women she could be finishing. She pulled guard in more than one fight for no reason whatsoever. Lupita Godinez has every single individual talent. Her sister is an Olympic wrestler, and she's been grinding on the mats with her sister for years. Her boxing is clean. I'm going to break this down, assuming Lupita's going to make the correct decisions. And I have almost no data to support that she will do that. She did just beat the hell out of Julia Pilastri, but who the hell is Julia Pilastri? She also almost shit her pants. And that's not a lie. She said to her corner, I have to shit. And then in the post-fight, like, what's up? She's like, I got to take a shit. I need to shit right now. So for her to have that performance while holding one in, have you ever been prairie dogging and trying to process other information? You get the goosebumps, you start to sweat, and you're trying to do other stuff. That is not like, you cannot do two things at once. Not when you're keeping it all inside of you. So the fact that honestly, that was her Jordan flu game. But instead of the flu, she had the runs. The reality is Lupita Godinez, every breakdown is exactly the same. She's the better fighter. She might do dumb shit. Luckily in this matchup, Andrade also does dumb shit and has kind of a limited skill set there. Lupita has a giant grappling advantage, and as long as she's not going strike for strike, power for power with Jessica Andrade, she should absolutely win this fight. Spending your money on her, I mean, that's an at-your-own-risk kind of thing because of her sort of unreliable past, but assuming she's going to take some Pepto before the fight, I think we're good. I think she gets it done. Then we have Gerald Meerschaert taking on Michal Oleksiejczuk. This is a clash of styles, if I've ever seen one. We have grappler, somewhat of a jiu-jitsu nerd, not full-blown, but somewhat of a jiu-jitsu nerd, Gerald Meerschaert, versus pretty much pure striker, Michal Oleksiejczuk. Gerald Meerschaert, very good grappler. He's always live for a submission. He's not really great on the feet. People do question his chin, but he is tough. He will not quit on himself. If he gets finished, his body quit, not him. He's not a quitter mentally. He's an absolute incredible beast of a grappler on the ground. He's the type of guy that takes his beating, is behind, you give an opening, bang, he snatches it up. He averages almost 2 takedowns per fight. He's got a very low 31% takedown accuracy, but they actually do seem to be getting a little cleaner, a little better. He's coming off that competitive loss to Brad Tavares, where despite me just saying his takedowns look a little cleaner, he went 0 for 8 in takedown attempts. But Brad's been around the block. Brad's no bum. He's taking on Michal Oleksiejczuk. He's a very good striker. He's got fast hands, a ton of pressure early. He has power as well. He's got 7 knockouts in his 8 UFC wins. While he is dangerous on the feet, he does have big grappling holes. He can fade as fights go on. He's coming off that knockout win over SD Dumas, where a lot of people felt that that knockout was a little early, but who gives it's SD Dumas, dude. What who cares? Genuinely like a bad person. The fact that he's still employed is nuts. So thank you, Michal, for your work for society. I feel like the majority of these fighters on this card are 2 and 3. Look at the records. Look at the ones I've done. Look at the ones I'm going to do. I do all these graphics. First of all, custom graphics. This is no lazy Tapology bullshit, okay? You're trying to build something from the ground up. You're trying to do your breakdowns and build an audience, and you're just going to use Tapology or SureDog. What are we doing? Put in the time. Put in the effort. It takes me hours every week to do these damn graphics. 3 per fight. It does help me, though. It's a little cathartic. It helps me sort of identify like anomalies as I'm typing these up and as I'm adding each individual statistic. I was like, shit, I didn't realize this guy was old. Or, wow, really? His takedown defense is that bad? And on this card, my theme was like, dude, every single one of these fighters is 2 and 3. And that's the situation we have here. They're trying to keep their careers alive. Meerschaert can definitely win this fight on the ground, without question. But if it doesn't get there, he's likely in a really tough spot. The problem for Gerald is that he needs fights on the ground. And his takedowns aren't quite good enough to get them there. And the other problem with Meerschaert is, even if he comes forward chaotically, throwing like crazy, he can be a little chinny. So it's not like he's got this iron jaw and some decent takedowns and he can create a mess, get to the legs, drag you to the ground. So all Michal has to do is let his hands go. When Gerald comes forward recklessly to get a takedown, let your hands go, connect, and you should be good. So I'm going to slightly lean Michal, but his BJJ is terrible. Like, if he ends up on the ground and he ends up getting subbed, literally nobody, including Michal's mother, is going to be surprised by that outcome. Not a single human being. The only outcome that would surprise me here is if Gerald Meerschaert knocks Michal out on his feet. That's the only surprising outcome. Gerald decision, not surprising. Michal decision, not surprising. Michal knockout, not surprising. Michal submission, that would be surprising unless he set it up with an almost knockout first. So I'm going to lean Michal because I think it's easier for him to stay away from the takedowns while letting his hands fly against a somewhat chinny Gerald Meerschaert than it is for Gerald to get through the fire and get a fight to the ground. Because even if he gets it to the ground, it's not a guarantee that he's going to get a finish there, and he's going to have to eat a lot of shit along the way. Michal's the pick. Under no circumstances should he be a minus 225 in a very tricky matchup like this. Then we have the featured prelim of the evening. We got a couple of olds. Oh, and look at those recent records, 2-3 in their last 5. We got old Bobby Green taking on somewhat older Diego Ferreira. Great hair, though. I mean, that's 40-year-old hair. That guy's looking real nice. We got King Green, Bobby Green. His original name was Bobby Green. Quite literally, it is now legally. It used to be Bobby, nickname King, last name Green. Now it is official government name King, I believe no nickname at all, and then Green. So we got King Green. Busy striker. He's got a showboat style, hands at his waist, great volume, incredible defense, slick wrestling as a backup plan. He has 11 knockouts under his belt. We have seen 1 or 2 one-punch knockouts, but it's mostly just clean, accurate striking and an accumulation of strikes over the course of the fight. He is on a bit of a skid lately. 2 finished losses in a row. Most recently, the receiving end of that insane spinning heel kick from Mauricio Ruffy. He's taking on Diego Ferreira. This guy is a very good BJJ guy. He's got power in his hands. Even though he is a grappler, he's got solid striking, a surprisingly low takedown accuracy. His striking has evolved over the years. He's won some striking-only fights. His takedown defense is at 57%, but that is a bit skewed because he continues to fight. He gets matched up with high-level wrestlers. He just spent his entire last fight dealing with the most boring guy in the division, Grant Dawson. He came out tentative, but he did pick up that pace later. Diego is definitely, without question, the more dangerous of the two here. Probably the more durable of the two, at least at this point in their careers, but his takedown defense sucks. And Bobby does have some underrated wrestling. Even though Diego has a power advantage, Bobby is probably the cleaner striker. This is a close fight. This is a fun matchup. You can also imagine my surprise when I saw that Diego was almost a 2-1 favorite here because it felt a lot closer on paper. Diego's going to be the pick. He's a little bit older, but he's durable, he's dangerous, and he has more ways to win this fight. So I am going with Diego here. Not entirely sure what the hell I'm going to do with that. Maybe we get a 1.5 round line. The over could be sneaky good. We'll see when all the props drop, but Diego's going to be the pick. Guys, here's a look at the next 4 fight cards. We have this card, UFC 319. I am genuinely, insanely excited for this card. This main event alone, the UFC could have duped us and done like a boxing card where you have a great main event and then the rest of it is dog shit. That's not really the case for UFC 319. But this main event, in my mind, and maybe I'm just way too excited, but the questions that are going to get answered about Khamzat are very important to me. Then we have UFC Shanghai right after this event. After that, we have UFC Paris. After that, we have Noche UFC. 4 spectacular fight cards. And you can unlock every pick, every bet, every tool for all 4 of those cards right now. It's only $10. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. You have full access to everything, including the tape index. A lot of you watch this because I'm just hilarious and good looking and my voice is very soothing. Some of you watch this for the insight, which just also happens to be very good. And I'm on this insane win streak right now. Others of you watch this as part of your research process. And for you, the people who like to do their own research, we have a tool called the tape index. And it's exactly that. It's an index. But we have all the fight history lined up for every single fighter on all these cards now and for the future. And you can run through that fight history, see the results, who they fought, canceled fights. And then if there's a red play button, you click the red play button and the video pops up. It's a very useful tool. What we don't have is copywritten content on the website. What we do, though, is have an easy to access breakdown of every single fighter and their full fight history. We have a new optimizer. This before was called the DraftKings optimizer. And I used to advertise that it is the industry first with a beginner mode because I understand that a lot of you don't necessarily play DraftKings Fantasy or know how it all works, but you see me show $10,000 tickets, $21,000 tickets. Say, I want to do that. I like having fun while watching fights. I like to make a couple of bucks here and there. I love fantasy football. I want to do the same for MMA. So we built a beginner mode into that optimizer. Well, I can't call it a DraftKings optimizer anymore because now we added FanDuel as well. So not only does it do everything that it did for DraftKings, it now does it for FanDuel. All of that is only $10 a month. There's 15 other things. Go to the freaking website. It's $10. I debated doing a slide here of just shit that costs more than $10. Like the dumbest shit that costs more than $10. That you will blow through in 10 minutes. Like a hamburger Happy Meal. That's actually, I think that's like $5. That's a bad example. But yeah, we're big. You're going to eat more than one of those, right? Check it all out. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. It's $10. A, it supports the boys. B, in return, you get quite literally the greatest service this space has ever seen. Even if you hate my fucking guts, which a lot of you do. And I don't know why. I think it's just I project confidence. Some people are probably jealous of the height, the thickness, the wife. I don't know what it is. But even if you hate my guts, the results are quite literally undeniable. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. UFC 319 is a pay-per-view. What do we do for pay-per-views? We film vlogs. We hang out. We have some fun. We have some drinks. The boys come over. And we record it. You get some raw reactions. You get some good times. We also open mail on the vlogs. If you want to send something for the UFC 319 vlog or UFC 320 vlog, here's the address. We Want Picks, P.O. Box 406 in Prosper, Texas, 75078. Here's the number as well. I keep forgetting to put this in my recap videos. I need to put this in the recap videos so that after an event, you guys can rage, leave messages. We have a toll-free number, 866-WE-WANT-PICKS. Leave your messages. We listen to all of them. Depending on the message, we'll have some fun with it. We'll post it. We'll share it during a breakdown. When I broke down Austin Bashi just a few events ago, I played a voicemail of somebody who had been sitting on their hate for my logic of Austin Bashi's first UFC fight for 6 months. So give us a call. Leave us a message. 866-WE-WANT-PICKS. That's 866-939-2687. And finally, Jacob and I will be at Noche UFC. We'll be there live, in person, human beings, having some drinks, hanging out with the boys. If you're going to Noche, let us know. I'd love to meet up, love to buy you a drink, and love to thank you for all your support. Whether you're a premium member or you're just here watching. Whether my call to action worked and you click the subscribe button. We appreciate all of it. Without any of you, none of this exists. So thank you all. I'll buy you a drink. Come say, Jacob won't buy you. He's a cheap bastard. I'll buy you a drink. Noche UFC. We'll be there. San Antonio, September 13th. We're going to open up the UFC 319 main card with Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. This breakdown is probably going to trigger some people. And you know how it goes with the MMA community, right? Everybody's a 100% certain matter-of-fact genius. There's no middle ground. I'm probably the only middle ground person here. I'm the only person being like, this is tough. This is a little tricky breakdown. Everybody else is like, so-and-so mog so-and-so. And then if they're wrong, their anonymous username has faded into the distance. And if they're right, can't wait. Fight was over for a half a second. Told you. Smoked him. I smoked a Beans Catcher 296 in the comment section. Got him. Good luck with that, Bean Catcher. You're not going to sleep for a week. We got Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. And sorry if this breakdown isn't what you think it's going to be. Tim Elliott, insane haircut for a 38-year-old man, is the definition of grit, though. He's consistently coming forward. He makes every fight dirty. He puts on a ton of pressure. He's got a ton of volume. He will stay in your face the entire time. Even if he's on the wrong side of the exchanges, he is still moving forward. His striking is not technical, but it can be effective for him because of his forward movement. His biggest asset is definitely his grappling. He moves really well on the ground. He's got submissions from everywhere. He is coming off that submission win over Sumerderji. Problem is, that was 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago. He's taking on Kai Asakura. Kai Asakura is a 135-pounder who came over to the UFC. His UFC debut was a title fight against Pantoja. They gaslit us. Real life gaslighting. Oh, this is the best flyweight outside the UFC on planet Earth. And then he got taken down a bunch of times and finished. The reality is, though, he does have some skills. He's a fast, aggressive striker. He thrives in the pride rules, and not pride like June in America, pride like soccer kicks and stomps to the head. He thrives in those rules because he is an aggressive striker with power, and he can be violent. The takedown defense has always been the question, and unfortunately, I believe those questions got answered in his last fight where he was taken down 3 times and then submitted. Now, my question is, did that happen because Pantoja is an absolute savage beast, or because Kai's takedown defense is just not the hell that good? My other question is, what the hell has Kai Asakura done to be a 3-1 favorite here? I get that his loss was to Pantoja, but guess what? Steve Erceg lost to Pantoja. What the hell happened to him after that? He was on that Dominic Reyes decline. This guy has 0 wins over anybody established, and I'm not just talking UFC, I'm talking his entire career. We haven't seen him have any success. He had no success in that fight whatsoever. So you got to be cautious. You have a 3-1 favorite, and I know you guys are going to parlay the shit out of him because you go, oh, Tim Elliott's old and washed. Is he, though? And does it matter? I get that Tim Elliott is old. I get that there's a 20-month layoff here, but I also get that he has fought some of the best fighters on the planet. He has been competitive with most of them. And am I about to pick a 38-year-old man coming off a 2-year layoff that on his wedding night, his wife had sex with his best friend? Yeah, I'm going to pick him. This guy needs, the world owes this dude. For that shit to happen on your wedding night, like, that's crazy. The world owes this man. He's got some positive karma coming this way. And it's going to happen in this fight. I'm picking Tim Elliott here. This is another, like, plus 3.5 is tricky because Kai Asakura is dangerous. Could he potentially find the finish? Yeah. Could Tim Elliott get a whole bunch of takedowns, just smother Kai and embarrass him? 100% that could happen. I'm going to pick Tim Elliott. I'm rooting for him. My guy needs some positivity in his life. And honestly, you finding out on your wedding night that was going on behind the scenes, yeah, real unfortunate time to find out. It would have been nice to find out 2 days before the wedding at least, Real unfortunate time to find that out. But fuck her. And now the whole world knows what a piece of shit she is. And Kevin Kroom. Fuck them both. I'm rooting for you. Then we got Jared Cannonier taking on Michael Venom Page. This is a very fun fight. This is also a stylistic matchup made perfect for Michael Page. But we'll go ahead and break it down. We got Jared Cannonier, 41 years old, taking on Michael Page, 38 years old. Another old versus old matchup, but I'll take old versus old. I don't mind it. They're not using the old established guy that's been here grinding as a company man to just prop up some 20-year-old we've never heard of. They've got 2 older guys that are going to put on a solid fight. Jared Cannonier, very powerful, incredibly dangerous. He switches from southpaw to orthodox. He throws kicks from both sides. He's got grappling defense. He's got a great resume. He doesn't average a very high amount of takedowns, but he does have 6 takedowns in his last 4 fights. He's coming off that rally win over Gregory Rodriguez where he was almost finished early, but he's tough as hell. He's not a quitter. He has incredible cardio, and he just kept grinding, kept moving completely. Oh, how the turntables have turned. He's taking on Michael Venom Page. This guy is a savage striker. He's certainly a few years past his prime, but he is still insanely dangerous. He has that sport karate background, so he's got that super wide stance. His hands are low as hell. His feet are like this far apart. They're so far apart you can't even see it on the way I have this camera cropped. And he pops in, he pops out, lightning fast. This guy will cover 6 feet of distance in less than 1 second. His kickboxing is phenomenal. The takedown defense is just okay. You're not going to see him ever attempt really any offensive takedowns, and I know he literally has. But you're not going to see a lot of it out of him. He is coming off that decision win over Shara Magomedov, where the speed, the karate style were just too much to handle for Bullet. This is a tailor-made matchup for MVP. He can dance on the outside and rush in. Jared Cannonier is powerful, but he's not fast. Jared Cannonier is durable, but he's not fast. Speed is what you need when you're fighting somebody like Michael Venom Page. And I think MVP pops in, pops out. I think he stays safe. MVP has quite literally outstruck every single person he has fought in the UFC, including Ian Gary. Ian Gary turned into a Nurmagomedov because he was getting dotted up. And Jared Cannonier can certainly turn himself into a Nurmagomedov here, but I think Venom Page is just too fast, too clean, pops in, pops out. I think he gets it done. I love that matchup, and I'm surprisingly confident in Michael Venom Page. Then we have the featured fight of the evening. We have Geoff Neal taking on Carlos Prates. Geoff Neal, lives near me. He lives next town over. Famously, also works at Texas Roadhouse. And people use that as an example to say, see, the UFC fighters aren't paid enough. This guy works as a waiter at Texas Roadhouse. And he was like, no, dude, I make plenty of money. I work here to keep myself busy because free time is not great for me. And I got to respect it. Good for him. He's out there grinding, staying busy, not just sitting around. I don't know if you know, like fighters, even if you're doing 2-a-days, first of all, you're not in fight camp 24/7 year round. Second of all, that's a lot of downtime. It's a lot of downtime. I managed professional fighters for a very long time, and I promise you, a lot of video game playing, a lot of lounging. So for Geoff Neal to get that second job, just to stay busy so he doesn't start doing dumb shit, good for Geoff Neal. And it shows you how well-rounded and well-balanced he is, both emotionally and in the octagon. He's a solid striker. He's got some real power. He's got good volume, solid takedown defense. He's not the most technical, but he's got power. He's got aggression, so he doesn't really need to be. Geoff does like to dictate the pace. He likes to dictate the range. He likes to control the exchanges. If he can stay on the outside and use those kicks to set up punches, he will have success. But if you get in his face, he doesn't work as well backing up as he does moving forward. Coming off that weird injury win over Rafael Dos Anjos. He's taking on Carlos Prates. Dangerous as hell striker. He's got big power, great range control, pretty light in his feet. He does manage to throw kicks to any part of your body whenever he wants. He'll launch head kicks on the drop of a dime. He'll throw spinning kicks. He'll defend most takedowns that do come his way. His power, his accuracy are absolutely insane. He also has surprisingly good cardio for a lifelong smoker and the confidence of a world champion. He is coming off that loss to Ian Gary. He was a bit behind in the striking. He was taken down 4 times, and then he almost finished that dude late. And I will argue to this day that if he just threw a few more punches, he would have finished that fight. Carlos Prates showed that he is both not as good as we thought, but also better than we thought in his last fight. Not as good because he was getting touched up by Ian. He did not have a backup plan. But better than we thought because even late in that fight, he rallied. He didn't quit on himself. He stayed busy. He continued to move forward, continued to try to win that fight, and nearly did. Carlos should win here. I think he's the better striker. There should be mostly striking going on here. I also expect that Geoff might shoot a takedown or two. But Carlos should be ready. Prates is the pick. I hope he does have a showcase performance so we can start hyping him back up again. I don't want to see like these young prospects. We need them to be good to build up these divisions. We need them to be good to get some intriguing plot lines and intriguing matchups. You don't want to see these guys have that fall off and then it's like, okay, like Geoff Neal winning this fight, it's great. It'll be entertaining in the moment, but for the division and the rankings and matchups to make next, makes things very, very complicated. Carlos Prates, it's like, all right, dude has 1 loss in the UFC and it's to Ian Gary who might be fighting for a title shot soon. Rooting for Prates. I think Prates gets it done. Should be an interesting matchup. I did want to remind you, I just mentioned matchups to make next. I've got another show. Josh Thompson and I, former world champion Josh Thompson, only person to ever knock out Nate Diaz, have another show called Bad Takes. We used to put those videos on this channel. But the problem is the topics are a little different. Most of our viewers are here for picks and predictions and bets. This is very different. We're talking about different topics in MMA. We're breaking down different things. We talked about Derek Moneyberg and how the hell that guy got a black belt in 3.5 years. We also do matchups to make next, the full video, talking about all of the outcomes from the night before and what we should do next. Subscribe to that channel for, please. All right, I'm not even going to curse at you. Please. The handle is at Bad Takes Clips. Not the best handle. That is the handle. It's Bad Takes. If you go to the We Want Picks YouTube channel, you'll see we've got 2 different other channels pinned. One is Bad Takes, and then the other one is our secondary Picks Nation channel. Subscribe. It's different content, different topics. Let us know if there's any topics you want us to discuss. And it's a good yin-yang. Former professional fighter, tall, handsome Ben Affleck lookalike. I mean, great chemistry. Check it out. Then we have the co-main event of the evening. This was just slapped together. It was what? 2 events ago where the UFC started to show the UFC 319 main card, and it would quite literally say co-main event TBD. And people were like, what? How the hell is the co-main event of a pay-per-view just a few weeks out TBD? But this is what they put together. Lerone Murphy and Aaron Pico. And I think it's a great matchup. A lot of you don't know who Aaron Pico is. Oddly enough, we did a whole Bad Takes about who Aaron Pico is. But I'm also going to give you a little bit of that right now. But Aaron Pico is good. He's good. Lerone Murphy, as we know, is also very good. 16-0. Just beat a ranked fighter. This is a very interesting co-main event. If Lerone Murphy has his way, it's going to be absolute boring as all hell. But it matters very, very much for this division. Could start talking about title shot implication next, especially if Lerone wins. Lerone Murphy is a very good striker. He moves incredibly well. He'll light up your body. He'll step completely out of the pocket. He'll move away. He'll come back in. His footwork is very good. He is sneaky dangerous on the feet. His takedown defense is listed at 52%, but he does a really good job scrambling back up after he is taken down. He's coming off that back and forth win over Josh Emmett where he got taken down 4 times. He did defend 7, but that was the most amount of times he's been taken down. He's taking on Aaron Pico. Might be a new name to you all, but the reality is he is one of the more hyped prospects signed by the UFC. He was originally supposed to make his UFC debut against Movsar Evloev at UFC Abu Dhabi, but here he is, the co-main event of one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year. You may not have heard of him, but that's not because of his skills. That's because the Bellator marketing team absolutely sucks. Aaron Pico's a nasty wrestler who has great boxing. Credential-wise, he made his way all the way to the finals of the Olympic trial, so he was this close to being an Olympian. It was like 1-1, and he ended up giving up a point. Boxing-wise, he's got Golden Gloves experience. He's trained at a very high level at Manny Pacquiao's gym and a bunch of other places. He is an incredibly well-rounded fighter who started his career basically right after high school. He graduates high school. He tried out for the Olympics, didn't make it, and he said, all right, I'm an MMA fighter now. And that's what he's been doing. And anybody picking against Aaron, you'll see it in this comment section. Immediately going to make, he's got 4 losses. He's got 4 losses. The reality is only 3 of them are real. Last one was an injury, so that doesn't really count. The other reality is he was just pushed too much too early. I told you he started his MMA career right after high school. But right now, at 28 years old, he is 10 times the fighter he was when he lost back in 2019. Lerone Murphy is extremely technical on the feet. He can certainly have some success striking, but I do think Pico's wrestling is just going to be too much here. Pico also has very good striking. And you know what? We might get a patchy mix situation where this fucking kid comes out here with a very clear wrestling advantage and decides to box and gets touched up. That could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Aaron Pico seems to be more level-headed, more well-rounded, more determined than his Bellator predecessor. So I'm on the Aaron Pico side. I think he's going to get it done. I am looking forward to adding some juice to this division. Great matchup, a ton of fun. I'm rooting for Pico, but I get it. All these guys coming to the UFC all suck. And yeah, Pitbull lost his UFC debut. Patchy Mix embarrassed his whole bloodline in that fight. Kai Asakura got smoked. I get it. I get that the hype prospects don't just come in here and dominate. I get it. But I think Aaron Pico comes in here kind of like Kayla Harrison did. Made a statement early. Clearly better than a whole bunch of fighters. Started to get some stuff done. Aaron Pico is going to be the pick. Then we have the main event of the evening. I am genuinely, wildly excited for this fight. I absolutely love this fight. I love DDP. First of all, he's hilarious. Second of all, his fights are exciting. He's a brute force bully. This guy moves forward, just does whatever the hell he wants to do. He is sloppy as hell, and he knows it. The best part about him being sloppy is people will break down what he's doing in fights and like stitch him on TikTok and Instagram and be like, this beautiful setup because I'm going to pretend to be a genius. When he steps, Dricus has literally reacted to those videos being like, that's not what the fuck happened. No, what happened there was I threw punches as hard as I could while running forward. There was no setup. And I love that Dricus is that self-aware. Imagine being that good, having that much success, and also being that self-aware. Like, no, there was no technique in that. I was just swinging. This guy's a savage. He has seemingly endless cardio. Like, he's breathing like a maniac, but he's still moving forward. He just beat the hell out of Sean Strickland for the second time. But he's taking on Khamzat Chimaev, one of the biggest question marks we have ever seen in this sport. I can't name another guy that has had this amount of hype, also this amount of criticism, but has never lost. Like, Khamzat Chimaev is in his own world as far as narratives are concerned. When he first showed up during COVID and he fought 3 times in 2 weeks or some nonsense like that, there was this like, oh my God, who is he? He showed up, just destroyed people. Then he has a couple of close fights that maybe shouldn't have been that close, like Gilbert Burns, Kamaru Usman. But then he comes out and he takes Robert Whittaker's teeth and shoves them to the back of his throat, dangling on his uvula. Khamzat Chimaev is in a different world in wrestling and grappling. And he's not just an MMA wrestler. He quite literally has competed on an international stage and had a wild amount of success. Khamzat Chimaev is a savage. And that's what I love about this matchup. We've got brute force, endless cardio versus unbelievable grappler with questionable cardio and a lot of unknowns. I am looking forward to this fight very, very much. And I've gone back and forth no fewer than 100 times. And yes, I said fewer because fewer is proper grammar. Less would not have been. I think I have the same breakdown that most others do. If DDP survives early, then he can take over. Find me somebody who has a different take than Khamzat has to win in the first 2 rounds or he doesn't win. There's not another take, right? That's the breakdown across the board. And it's not cheap. Like, that's just quite literally a lot of the reality here. DDP is an awkward freak. He's got cardio, while Khamzat is a technician who has seemed to struggle when fights go a little long. This current version, though, of Khamzat, a bit of a far cry from the rumors. We used to hear this guy sleeps at the gym. He trains for 12 hours straight. He's a different animal. But I do think there's a misguided narrative here. I am not convinced that Khamzat's cardio is as shit as everyone says it is. The fights that people point to and the fights that get spammed in our Discord with the GIFs are Gilbert Burns. That was at 170 pounds. This gentleman is 6'2". He is not small. He is thick. Cutting down to 170 seemed to destroy him. Kamaru is the other fight people point to. Well, Kamaru is a divisional great who was also a giant welterweight. So I'm actually surprised to see that Khamzat is the betting favorite, though, because I have not seen a single person pick Khamzat to win. Literally, nobody. I have talked to, actually, Giordani from Young LA is the only person I have talked to that thinks Khamzat wins. And all of you, at least the vocal ones, are picking DDP. All the experts are picking DDP. Everybody's on the DDP side. And I can understand it. This guy is doing amazing things. He's beating the shit out of people. He's moving forward. Like, I completely get it. And the only criticism on him is he kisses his coach in the front. Like, right in the mouth. No cheek, no, just like, bang, right in the mouth. Outside of that, I don't know what you would criticize. Oh, he's sloppy? Who gives a fuck? He's winning fights sloppy. Who cares? He is just brute force bullying people. I am going to pick Khamzat, though. I think the skill gap is wider than most people think it is. I also think that Khamzat can win multiple rounds, not just the first. I get that the whole thing is he gets exhausted. And I get that Usman had some success, and many people, including myself, have said if that fight was 5 rounds, Usman was going to take over. But it wasn't 5 rounds, was it? So he wasn't preparing for 5 rounds. And there is a mental component to that. You know. I've got 2 banked. I'm good. So I'm not going to criticize Khamzat's cardio based off of fights. One was at 170. The other one was against an all-time great on short notice. He wasn't short notice, but you get my point. I'm going to pick Khamzat here. I think what we saw against Robert Whittaker, a wild takedown from a quarter mile away that he still got, I think he can do a lot of that. And I don't know if Dricus is going to brute force his way off bottom. He might, and I'm rooting for Dricus. It is actually better for the division for Dricus to win. I am rooting for Dricus. I am a giant Dricus fan. He is absolutely hilarious. I want him to win this fight. But if I'm looking at it objectively, it's like, if you're relying on somebody to win the fight just by surviving early, that's the whole breakdown. Nobody's saying Dricus is the better this, Dricus is the better that. Everybody is saying if he survives. So if you need somebody to survive to win a fight, I got to go the other side. I'll go with the attacker, not the survivor. And no offense to women who have survived like atrocities from men. That's not what I'm talking about here. Guys, that's the breakdown. Download our freaking app. WeWantPicks.com is a website. Every single thing that we offer is available on the website. A desktop browser, a mobile browser, anything. but we also, in addition to, have an app. There's some confusion that we're only an app. We're not only an app. That's an in addition to. The app does everything the website does, but also adds push notifications. The app is 100% free. It is in the iOS App Store. Inevitably, every week, when are you going to get an Android app? First of all, like, listen, man, I'm not trying to piss you off, and people are so goddamn sensitive. There are people who quite literally have premium, love premium, have said, I love premium, but I'm going to cancel because you said Androids suck. Jesus fuck, dude. Imagine caring that much about the software on your phone and being that offended by somebody else. Here's the reality. We have an Android app. We put it out. It was buggy as hell, and the login was clanky. So we had to pull it. I don't know when it'll be pushed back out. But the iOS app works nice. Free in the App Store. Inside the app, you'll have access to almost everything. Tape Index is the one and only thing that isn't in the app, and that's because iOS doesn't like apps opening other apps. But the Tape Index is available in a mobile browser on the website, and what it does is it lines up every fighter on every card. This is built out for the future as well. Not just this card, but future cards. You have the full fight history of each fighter, what happened, how they won, how they lost, who they fought, and if there's a red play button, you click it, and you can watch the tape. Inside the app and on the website, you have the fight simulator. This simulates fights 100,000 times, and it not only gives you the high-level output of who wins those fights, but also the individual stats along the way. I use this to go ahead and attack the significant strike lines. That is, for me, what I use it for. Others use it to build DraftKings fantasy lineups and then make a ton of money there. The Optimizer, I mentioned before, this used to be called the DraftKings Optimizer. It's now the Optimizer because not only does it build DraftKings fantasy lineups, it will also build FanDuel fantasy lineups as well. All of those tools, a million other things, including the Data Analyzer, available right now. Data Analyzer, the one-stop shop for those of you who like to do your own research. The Data Analyzer is quite literally the best tool in this space for that, because this is also built out for the future. If you want to get ahead on fight cards, you select your card, then you select your fighter. It'll populate your fighter, all of their pertinent fight stats, line it up directly next to their opponent, and then you can add remove filters. You can say, for example, Khamzat Chimaev. Any fight that goes longer than this, what did that look like? How many times is he hit in fights that go the distance? How many times has he hit his opponents in fights that go the distance? And you could just keep stacking and adding filters, and this chart on the bottom will auto-adjust. Inside that chart also has the tape index. We have a tool called the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, current odds, win probability, and line movement for every fighter on every card. We have a prop hunter, curated set of data specifically designed to help you find prop bets. And we have more than just this beautiful face. Bet Sam had a great night as well at UFC Vegas 109. We have Artem. Contender Series is about to start. I keep talking about the 4 cards you're going to unlock with premium. It's actually 5, because you're going to get every single week Artem's breakdown for Contender Series, his picks, his bets. Check it all out. The artificial intelligence has been crushing lately. It's it's $10. And any reasonable human being who understands the value of money and what things cost in today's economy, $10 is quite literally nothing. Hey, and there's no tariff upcharge. Guys, thank you so much for the watch. I genuinely appreciate it. Even if you don't want to be a premium member, thank you for being here. Click the subscribe button. That costs nothing. Good luck this weekend. I'm looking forward to this fight card. This is the most excited I've been for a very, very long time.